All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you there's a way to take a huge chunk of time off your marathon PR? I mean, we're talking 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes. And get this, it has nothing to do with some new workout plan, piling on more miles, or buying those fancy, expensive super shoes. Okay, let's dive into this. Because the answer, well, it's probably the one thing nobody in your running group is talking about.
So really, how do you get that kind of breakthrough performance? I mean, how can you actually take 15 minutes off your marathon? It's not just about training harder, though, yeah, that helps. It's really about training smarter. It's about addressing the one single biggest thing that's holding most runners back.
You know how it is. We're all wired to think the answer is always more. More miles, faster intervals. Or maybe we think it's about the tech, right? Spending hundreds of dollars on the latest shoes to shave off a few ounces. But while we're so focused on all that stuff, we are completely missing the most powerful tool we have. And here it is. The biggest performance hack in running, bar none, is optimizing your body weight. And specifically, we're talking about shedding excess body fat. Now look, I know this can be a sensitive topic. It's something people tend to shy away from, but the physics here, they're just undeniable.
Let's just look at the raw math for a second. For every single pound of excess weight you're carrying, you're giving up about 2.5 seconds per mile. Now do that math over a full marathon. Let's say you're carrying 10 extra pounds. That's nearly 11 minutes off your time. It just adds up so fast.
And this is really the crucial point here. It's almost a taboo subject, isn't it? People might feel like it's not polite to bring up. But here's the reality. Elite runners live by this rule. I mean, at the absolute highest levels of the sport, you just don't see athletes carrying weight that isn't helping their performance. This chart right here, it just lays it all out so perfectly. Take a look. The average person in the US has a BMI of around 27.5. Okay. Now runners, we're generally leaner, right? Often somewhere in that 23 to 25 range. But for peak performance, the data points to a BMI closer to 20. Just think about that gap for a second. That's where all that untapped potential is just sitting, waiting.
So, okay, we've figured out the what. It's all about becoming a lighter, more efficient running machine. But why it's so powerful? Oh, that goes way deeper than just carrying less weight up a hill.
See, it's not just one single improvement. It's a cascade of benefits. Losing that excess weight creates this incredibly powerful compounding effect, where every single benefit builds on the last one, creating this amazing upward cycle of improvement.
So let's break down exactly how this whole thing builds on itself. We're going to walk through the 5 interconnected advantages that completely transform your running when you dial in your body composition.
Okay, so it starts with the obvious. You run faster, just from being lighter. Simple physics. But then, because you're lighter, you dramatically lower your risk of injury. And a lower injury risk, that means you can train more consistently. And on top of that, because you have less body fat, you dissipate heat way more efficiently, which means you can train harder and race faster, especially when it's warm. You see, it all connects.
Let's zoom in on that injury risk for a second. Think about it. Most running injuries come from that repetitive impact, right? Every single time your foot hits the ground, your body has to absorb that force. Now, pro runners, they use these super expensive anti-gravity or underwater treadmills to reduce that impact while they train. Well, guess what? Losing excess weight does the exact same thing. And it's free. It's like having your own personal anti-gravity machine.
And then there's the heat issue, which is a massive performance killer. When your muscles get too hot, they start to shut down. Excess body fat literally acts like a layer of insulation, trapping all that heat inside your body. So a leaner physique? It's like having a much bigger, more efficient radiator for your body's engine. It lets you perform at a higher level for way longer.
Okay, so the benefits are crystal clear. But this is where so many people get it totally wrong. The how you do this is everything. Because if you go about it the wrong way, you're going to end up weaker and slower, not faster.
And this is probably the most important warning in this whole thing. If your plan is to just slash your calories and starve yourself, please stop right there. For an athlete, simple restriction is an absolute recipe for disaster. You'll just drain your energy stores, you'll feel awful, and your performance will completely tank. Yeah, this quote from the source material just says it all perfectly. Without glycogen, and that's your body's #1 fuel source for running, none of those benefits we just talked about are going to matter at all. It's simple. You can't run fast if you don't have any fuel in the tank. So what's the right way to do it? The source points directly to a whole food plant-based approach. And the key here is the mindset shift. This isn't about restriction. It's not about what you have to give up. It's all about what you add in, focusing on foods that are as close to their natural state as you can get.
And the difference is actually really simple when you see it laid out. On one side, you've got these fractionalized foods, things like oils, protein powders, refined sugars. They're just parts of a food. On the other side, you have the whole foods, the actual apple, the whole potato, the rice. The goal is just to build your diet around the stuff on the right. And look, this isn't just some theory. This is actually backed by solid research. Take a look at the broad study. Participants were simply educated on whole food plant-based eating. That's it. Not only did they lose a significant amount of weight, but when the researchers checked back in at 6 months and then again at a full year later, they had kept it off. In fact, someone had lost even more. Now that is sustainable change. And let's just bust a really common myth right now. This does not have to be expensive. In fact, some of the most effective whole foods out there, we're talking potatoes, rice, lentils, are literally the cheapest things you can buy in the grocery store. This approach is accessible to absolutely everyone.
So, okay, this all sounds great, but how do you actually start without feeling totally overwhelmed? Well, the source suggests one single, simple shift in how you think about it, and it makes all the difference. This is it. This is the key takeaway. Don't restrict, just add. Forget about saying no to things. Stop focusing on what you have to take away. Instead, focus entirely on what you can add to your plate. The psychology behind this is it's brilliant. When you focus on adding in more of the good stuff, more fruits, more vegetables, more whole grains, you naturally start to crowd out the less optimal foods. You don't have to fight cravings with some heroic act of willpower. You just fill up on high-quality fuel, and that automatically starts to recalibrate your body and your habits. It just happens.
And that really leaves us with this one final thought. By addressing the very foundation of your health and your body composition, you're not just chipping away at your race times by a few seconds. You are unlocking a level of performance that you might have thought was completely impossible. So the real question is, how fast could you really be?